in my dream job, that was actually already present after my graduation from the university. And my dream job was to become like a digital nomad. I really like to work and to travel all around the world and then share my knowledge and get paid for it. So yeah, that was something I was aiming for. And already 2 years after my graduation, I successfully got my dream job. So I'm working at Microsoft as an IT consultant. I got a job over there. And in that job, I was giving advice to customers about IT, and I got paid for that. And at one point, I did it really good. At least I think I did it really good because customers around the world were asking me to also share my knowledge with them. So I was literally flying rounds around the world to help customers and get paid for it. So I was really living my dream job. Only I didn't feel like I was really living my dream job. I did my dream job, but yeah, I was sort of doing it on a automatic pilot, so to say. So I was sort of feeling that I was missing some real challenge, or yeah, not using my full potential in this job or in my work. So as a consequence, I decided to quit my job and go on a quest to find my ideal job. And I approached this quest as an engineer, as I was schooled. So how I did that, I just took some experimental of some theoretical models from mathematics, from business administration, from psychology, and yeah, start to analyze them and also use some practical experiments on the work floor to really test them out. And as a result of this, I sort of discovered a method to find your dream job. So I'm really willing to share that also with you who are in the call. And my dream job, yeah, it's still a little bit digital nomad, so I still like to travel. But besides that, I also am the CEO of my own company, where we actually use big data to help customers save on their cloud bill by providing them a training environment. I will not talk much about my company. I'm actually here to talk more about how did I achieve this. So I hope you're interested in hearing more about that. It's good to see that you're nodding. So a little bit of the agenda. I will discuss three sort of say theories of finding your dream job. One is the graph theory, one is the elimination strategy. A third one is scenario planning. Then I will give you a short exercise to help you find your dream job. Then I have a slide about career planning at BAM. Then I have some time for some questions. And in the last few minutes, I will give you a short summary of what happened. So let's start. So the initial approach I used to find my ideal job is actually the graph theory. It's a theory I really like because it's based on Dijkstra's shortest path algorithm. It's a really famous scientist in the IT world. And with this algorithm, you can, it's like used a lot in navigation systems. So if you want to find your best route from A to B, then it uses this algorithm. And you can also sort of use it in finding your career path. To give you an example, when I was going to study, I started at point A, that's also called a node. And then I already knew that within 5 years, I'm graduating at point G. And for me, point G was already really clear because I had already chosen my studies. And I already knew what I needed to do to achieve that. So I needed to pass the exams, I needed to do 2 internships, and I needed to do a graduation project. So in this case, your starting point is clear and your end point is clear. So it's you only need to find the best way to it. and that's really up to you how you want to do it. And you can also apply this at your job, for example. For example, if you are especially in the bigger companies, there's like sort of a corporate ladder you can walk or you can climb, where you have your starting point, and you know at the end of the year you need to make this many amount of hours as a consultant, or you need to make this many sales deals, and that's your point G, because at that point you get like a salary increase based on your achievements of the last year. So this theory works perfectly if you have your endpoint set and you know your begin point and you just need to do it. Yeah, and in my case, this works really well for finishing my studies. I ended at point G with like a graduation from the technical university. But then I went to the next step. I wanted to have a job, but I didn't really knew exactly how it looked like. So I didn't have the point 8 that was really clear to me. So I just used a different method to determine what would be my next step in my life. And to determine that one, I used the elimination method. And it's actually quite easy. For example, if you want to get your first job, the first thing you do is you go to a job vacancy website. You just list there all the jobs that are available. Then you use a filter to only filter out the jobs that are in your field. So in my case, I filtered based on chemistry and life sciences. So I sort of already eliminated the jobs that I didn't got interested in. Then with the jobs that were available left over, I just applied to all of them. Then I got a reply back or not. And based on that one, in the end, I got 2 jobs that I wanted to work for and they wanted to have me. And I decided which one I liked the most. So this is like a really easy approach if you have like a limited amount of options. So let's say between 1 and 500 to find the best one for you. And another really good book I like to read about this is from Daniel Kahneman. He's a Nobel Prize winner in economics. And he gives some really nice insights of how you can make decisions in your life or in general. So if you want to know more about that, I would recommend this book. But for now, I would like to think. At least what I still want to say about this is that it works really perfect if you want to go for your first or your second job. Then this method works really well. And also, if you are like in a job at a big company, then usually the next options are quite easily. You can go to senior or other known options. So then you have like a limited amount of options and you can just eliminate options you don't want. I also tried this in finding my real dream job, but then it sort of didn't really work. So I was looking for like, why doesn't it really work? So I just looked some mathematics, and if you just count the amount of nodes that are possible in your dream job, there are really a lot. For example, it's the location, it's the field where you want to work in, it's the manager type, the team dynamics, or even the department within the company you want to work in, the salary range, or even the type of knowledge you want to add in your job. So there were really a lot. And I must say it almost approaches to almost infinity amount of job opportunities that there are. And what's interesting about infinity in mathematics is that it's infinity. So if you then use your elimination methods and say like, okay, I didn't like this job, so I know for sure this is not the one I want. Then in mathematics, infinity minus 1 still stays infinity. So then this method doesn't really work. And also, if you know, for example, I'm already working at a company, I really like this company, I want to definitely work for this company. So in this case, the location, you don't want to work at the 99% of all the other organizations. But then still, the amount of nodes you can choose is infinity, because even if you divide infinity by 99, it still stays infinity. So this method doesn't really work if all the options in the world are still open to you, or at least most of them are still open to you. Yeah, and also I really tried this in practice. So I think in general, I've been working in 13 different countries in now I think about 50 different fields, and with more than now let's say 500 different teams. Because yeah, as a consultant, I can really join any company I want actually for a small period of time. So I've tried a lot of different options, and still, yeah, the amount of possible dream jobs I could do is still, yeah, infinity actually. So for finding your real dream job, this method is not really good. But for finding your first job or your secondary job, this method is, yeah, works really perfect for me. That's what I want to say about this. Then the last thing, the last scenario I want to describe to you is called scenario planning. Yeah, this is a tool, yeah, that really nicely describes how to find, or at least how I did find my dream job. I can explain it to you, but yeah, I would say it. Yeah, what I like to do is to read some poetry that is describing what scenario planning is. And the poetry, it's not really high fancy. It's actually from Wikipedia on the the website or topic of scenario planning. But the words in there really describe really nicely what it is. So therefore, I would like to read it in the paragraph of what is scenario planning. Scenario planning is a structured process of thinking about and anticipating the unknown future, without the pretense of being able to predict the future. Instead, it navigates through the uncertainties and large-scale driving forces that are impacting on the future. The objective of structured planning is to examine possible future developments that could impact you in order to find directions for your decisions that would be most beneficial no matter how the future unfolds. The philosophy is to proactively think and plan for the future developments instead of being a passive victim of change. Scenario planning always includes a number of possible future scenarios to use preparing for many possible future events. Yeah, and at least what I like about this sort of poem is that it has like really multiple layers of yeah, what scenario planning is and yeah, how you can read it. But yeah, to give you a short summary, or at least like give like the first level of it, is that it really sort of yeah tries to anticipate your future dream job without having the pretense of being able to predict your dream job. So what it means is that you don't really pick like a node or like the dream job, but you choose more like the direction. It's more like sort of a internal compass that is yeah guiding you in that direction instead of really having clear points in mind. And what I also really like is that it says it helps you to proactively think and plan for the future instead of being a passive victim of change. And what I like about it is that yeah, if you just start in your job, what I often realize is that there's sometimes a reorganization into your job, and then you suddenly need to shift your whole planning of your whole way of working. And yeah, of course, that's fine because it also gives new opportunities. But you also need to keep in mind that it could be like a deviation from your internal compass, and choose making you sort of a victim of change. Yeah, I hope that was a little bit clear. But then, yeah, I can imagine that you want to know, okay, like nice words, but what does it really mean? How should I apply it to find my own dream job? And yeah, that's actually a very simple way, because in scenario planning, what you need to do is just draw two axes, and you need to label those axes. So, for example, in this case, I labeled the x-axis as type of knowledge I want to bring to my ideal job. So this could be on one end, it's totally practical knowledge, so it's just doing things without thinking too much. Or at totally the other side, it's the theoretical knowledge. So there it's like only about thinking a lot, but you don't really know how to do it in real life. And on the other X, I put the company mission. So in the lower, the bottom is called, is said money driven. So there the company mission is really money driven. So everything you do is trying to maximize the profits and maximize revenue for the company. Well, in the upper part, it says value driven, where I mostly think about NGOs or voluntary work, that their mission is really to help people or to help something instead of going for the big money. And if you then sort of distribute all your possible jobs in this graph, you sort of end up with 4 quadrants. So you have sort of divided your unlimited amount of jobs into sort of 4 clusters. And you only need to pick one of the 4 clusters to go to instead of the unlimited amount. I wanted to say something else about that. But yeah, let's continue. So what it actually does is, so it gives you sort of a compass that you can go into 4 directions for finding your dream job. And yeah, to give to sort of draft your own compass. Yeah, I would recommend sort of draw this on your own paper, like a cross and then the 4 squares, and then really go to the maximum. So how does the job looks like if you need to do it 100% theoretical and 100% value driven? How would your job look like? So if I would sort of implement it myself, my area looks like this. In this case, it's 2 guys. One of them is Charles Darwin, and the other one is Leonardo da Vinci. And to me, they are really sort of 100% theoretical, because what they did is they only observe the nature and then start to think, how does it work? They write down, and they start to analyze it and observe it and just, sort of theoretically think about it. And they are also sort of 100% value driven, because they were not doing this because they want to earn more money or more status. They just do this by, at least in my vision, by gaining more knowledge and also sharing this knowledge with other people. So for me, the compass in this direction really represents those 2 guys in a value-driven and theoretical job. Then I would like to ask you, like, at least what I often noticed, maybe it's that nice to mention, is that I have done this exercise also with some of my friends, and they have sort of totally different view of what is value-driven and theoretical. One of them put up there like a picture from the startup called SpaceX from Elon Musk, and he told me, like, okay, for me this is 100% theoretical, because people are not able to build like spaceships already for going to Mars, but they are already thinking about it, like how could that in theoretical be possible? And he also told me, like, they are not money driven, because they also have some sort of business model where they could reuse their rockets. But for them, it was more value driven, because it was like a big purpose of sort of of putting man not only on Earth but also to Mars. So if the Earth got extincted, then we can still proliferate on Mars. So that was his version about this quadrant. So it's really actually up to you how you exactly see this. So the next exercise is, how would you see like a practical money-driven image or word. And maybe Claudia, I can ask you how you see it.
Good question. I hope someone will help me in the live chat. Practical, money driven at the same time.
Yeah. So at least I can explain how I see it, and then maybe you can add some of your ideas. But at least for me, really practical, like only doing stuff without thinking too much, and really in a company that's really money driven. I've sort of depicted a little bit my job at Microsoft, where I was just going to customers, because they were present, so I didn't need to really think what I needed to do. And it was really money driven because I went to customers because they were paying for me. So it almost felt like a little bit robotic. So I really needed to do some sort of an automated job without doing that much challenging work. Same for you?
Yeah, that could be. I also see someone is writing in the comments, for example, about this latter one, practical, money driven. Could be someone as Edison, or actually theoretical and money driven. And
True, yeah.
and then there's also comment about Leonardo da Vinci being theoretical because he was a hands-on inventor. So like you said, there are different point of views.
True, yeah, definitely true. It's just how you interpret, and at least what I would recommend is that you put just your own pictures in there of what you think you should go, what you feel about it. Because the easiest way is that if you then at one point, would like to find a new job or want to do something more value driven, more theoretical, you know which inspirators you need to look at. So for me, for example, also more like a practical value driven one is, for example, BEST. In that, at least I had experienced it like that, because over there I could really do organize events, go to events, and do really amazing stuff without getting paid for it. But also the organization didn't got paid for it. It was like really giving students the time of their life actually. So that's sort of my approach of BEST. And another one that's like more theoretical and money driven, it's for me like research, because you need to think a lot about how to do it, but there's always a component in it that your research needs to have some added value for the company you're doing it for.
They also mentioned Tesla as value-driven inventor, by the way, in the chat.
True. Yeah, that's also a possibility. Yeah. And if you have like sort of a picture or words into mind in those 4 areas, you can really easily sort of shift your daily job actually in these areas. So how did this sort of career compass work for me? So at point G, I just finished my studies at the university as a scientist. And then I decided that I want to work for a more money-driven company and do more practical work. So I decided to work in a laboratory. So my whole compass shifted more to that direction. Then I was working in a laboratory. I really liked it. I learned a lot. But then at some point, I decided for me, okay, this was good. This is the end. What should I do next? And then I thought to myself, I want to earn even more money, because I thought that would be like the holy grail. And I want to be a little bit more theoretical, because at the laboratory I was mostly doing just practical work, and I want to have some more mind gymnast, or how do you call it? So I decided to work for Microsoft, which is, at least for me at that point, more money driven and more theoretical knowledge. I really liked to work over there. I've been working there for almost 3 years. yeah, going to research departments of Microsoft, but also going to customers. So yeah, I really liked it, but only at some point, as I just already mentioned, that I was sort of getting bored. And I thought, how could I solve it? Yeah, at least at that point, I thought maybe becoming even more money driven would be the option, because then you can, yeah, you have like a lot of money and then you can just spend it on nice things. So therefore, I decided to start up my own my own company in freelancing, and went even more to the left. I did that for a year. Yeah, it was really nice also to do. Yeah, I really liked being there. But then at some point I decided, yeah, I still want to do now more into the academic world, or more in the theoretical value-driven part. So I decided, together with a colleague, to start my own company, and then yeah, fully shifted to the other side of the spectrum actually. So now I have my own company, yeah, doing a lot more think work than before, because I also need to find out how to do legal stuff, how to do administration, how to file tax. We are now planning to move to the US. So that's, again, a whole lot of new think work of how to set up a company in the US. So that's something I really like. And still it's, yeah, to me a little bit money driven, because I also earn money from it, of course. But that's at least at the moment not the main purpose of starting my own company. And now for the future, my compass is still in that direction, that I want to even do something even more value driven and more theoretical. So what I do is just I wait, and yeah, if I see opportunities flying by or coming by in that area, I can just pick them up and go for it. So I have sort of already limited my scope, and then if something flies in my area, I can just grab it and go to it. So that's a little bit how my career compass is sort of changing throughout my career path. Yeah, and at least my advice is to you that you can also sort of do it this in your way. Yeah, so in this slide, yeah, it's like the same compass again, but because there are only 4 directions, it's like quite simple, or simple is maybe not a good word, but it's you're not the only one that's struggling with this. So there are already sort of companies, or say it's like yeah, sort of corporates or companies that help in this direction. So for example, if you want to go to have more knowledge, for example, and more money-driven business value, then companies already offer traineeships, or in-company education, or conferences, or yeah, other stuff. So they can already help you, if you know you want to go in that direction, they can also help you forward in that direction. And the same holds for the other areas. And at least an area I liked is like the more theoretical knowledge and more the value proposition of companies. Because there I see there are already a lot of sort of pre-made directions already, like choosing a secondary study, doing a PhD, either part-time or full-time, doing an MBA, or even starting your own startup. And I must say, in Ben, yeah, and it's clear you already made some sort of a overview of all these paths that are present, and where alumni people can also help you in finding, or helping you to get to helping you to move in that direction. Yeah, so that's, I think, really nice of the Ben organization. You can just talk to people that are already going in that direction, and you can just follow along. That's what I wanted to say about this slide. Yeah, then I have actually another slide where we want to have sort of your input from the listeners about this. Because in Ben, we are looking for a program manager and the program manager is in the program of training new alumni. And we are actually looking in which direction you see this kind of vacancy, if it's in point 1, 2, 3, or 4. And to give you a little bit more information about this role, I would leave it to Clelia to tell a little bit about this role.
Yeah, that's a good question actually, because it would be nice to gather some feedback from more people to better understand what they would look for. Like you said, the program is called Training New Alumni because we would like to transfer some knowledge, if not some advice, to new alumni to join who join our organization. So, some people may be very practical and just ask us, just for some advice to review their CV, some suggestions about cover letters. But, there are more sophisticated points to elaborate as well. Like, yeah, everything you said until now, Mike, it's a very scientific approach to the career. So, yeah, I guess it really depends. What the new alumni want to see, want to hear, what they expect.
Yeah, and at least if I could comment, it's like the person that would like to take on this job, it doesn't really matter in which of the 4 areas he is, right? So if this
Yeah,
internal
that
compass is being more into the practical knowledge and the money area, then there's opportunity for him, right?
yeah, that is correct.
Yeah, at least if I can elaborate a bit more about how I see it, for example, is that if you really like this idea and you want to pursue with it to help to train new alumni in getting their compass for their dream job, you can either validate our access because these access are based on my experience. I don't know about all the other people around Europe if they have the same kind of importance for these access. So you can do some sort of research in finding which access are the best for Ben.
Yep.
But if you you can also go more into the business mission where you are like money driven. Because we can do like an easy experiment on the alumni group to see in which area most people want to move, and then just find companies that help them move in that direction, and then go on take up some sponsorships of take on a sponsorship between that company and BAN to help our alumni in that direction. So there are like all different kind of possibilities that are still present within this function. If I'm correct, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah, so please let me know in which direction, let us know in which direction you think this role, or you see this role going, and then we can collect some feedback about what type of person, what you want to do in this role. You already got some feedback, or?
Uh, yes, well, not about this slide in particular, but yeah, someone said we missed your introduction this time, Clelia, so I apologize. Apparently, the excellent connection that I was claiming at the beginning was not so excellent, so apologies
No
for
problem.
so apologies for that. But yeah, I said my usual introduction. The webinar is offered by Best Alumni Network, which is the alumni organization of BEST. And Mike, who you've heard until now, has a range of experiences as a scientist, former Microsoft employee, startup owner. He prepared presentations for different companies to encourage their innovation in the IT culture. And yeah, I encouraged you to basically provide your feedback and your questions in the live chat. So that was basically the introduction. But you heard everything that Mike said, so that is very good. That was the most important part. And
Yes.
and you may experience some buffering. Sorry for that. I will try to fix the video as soon as the live is off, because it's usual live streaming exciting experience. And Okay, that is good. So so yeah, I told you the comment about Edison. Yeah,
Yeah,
Leonardo da
this is
Vinci.
also my last slide to interrupt you a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Are there any questions? So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. And if you don't want to put up your question in public, you can also send your question on LinkedIn privately to me.
No, for sure. Then there's one comment about the elimination method that you mentioned at the beginning. That is it really so big the market that at any given moment you have infinite choices given the filters that you apply.
Sorry, could you repeat it?
So you said during when you were explaining the elimination method, you mentioned there are infinite choices.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could be such a high number that, but someone says, is the market so big that despite the filters you apply, the choices are that many, still that many?
Yeah, that's a good question. I haven't really a mathematical answer. I only have like an answer based on my own experience, and it's approaching infinity, I would say. And that's because there's so many options you can choose from, and it's not like the options that are really present. Because I know if you want to have a job at the moment, then yeah, the, the amount of job options is maybe in tens, hundreds max. So then, of course, it's not infinity. But if you want to create your own dream job, yeah, then the possibilities are endless actually.
Okay, yeah, interesting, understood. Um, Okay, there are no questions for now, but I encourage everyone to leave comments or write to us. You have in our About page here on the YouTube channel, you can see on which social media we are active. So you can send us your questions or comments pretty much everywhere. And remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I don't know if you, Mike, have done it already, but that's a good way to get notifications for next webinars, for example. And what else? Oh, we also have a podcast, by the way, on Spotify and Anchor. You find the links again in the About section on our YouTube channel. And in the feedback for sorry, in the there is a feedback form. I put the link in the video description here. Don't tell me the connection was very bad. I know. I apologize for that. Probably Mondays are very bad. Let's not choose Monday next time. And in the description, I will also put, you mentioned, Mike, a few books. So I will copy paste their titles and authors in the video description as well. So for everyone to easily access them. That was very good. Thank you very much for yeah, sharing your recommendations, Mike.
Yes. Yeah, I have only one last slide. It's the summary slide.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, if you want to define your own career paths, and yeah, the amount of options is just one. Yeah, just choose the graph theory, because then this is like going from one to the other one. If you have like more than one options, like between one and let's say 10, 100, then the elimination method is good to use. But if you have like unlimited or more than 100 options, you can start thinking about the scenario planning options I mentioned. And I also saw two other interesting sessions here on the Ben webinar. One is about launching your own startup. So if you, at least in my case, want to be more theoretical and money driven, then really watch this webinar. And the other one I really liked is meaning and purpose in life. And at least it helped me really in setting a clear direction. Because as I mentioned, yeah, if you use the scenario planning, you still have like 4 directions you can go into, and you still need to decide which of the 4 you want to go in. Yeah, and if you watch this webinar, yeah, it gives you a little bit of direction in which 4 areas you should go.
Yeah,
So that
that
was
is
it
true.
for my part.
Yeah, very, very good examples, Mai. Thank you again, and thank you for your
Yes,
time today. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. I will see if I can fix the video. And yeah, let us know if you want Mike to come back. He will be happy to prepare another session for us.
true. Yeah. Okay, have a good day. Bye.